YMCA.
Hello.
Hey guys. Welcome back to Life with 18 Cats. I'm Kim. If you're new here, welcome in. Nice to see you. And as always, we have the beautiful, the wonderful, the talented, the educated, the smart, the witty, Christina. Yay. Okay, both of us. We'll go with that. Go with that. Yay. And Cam's in here right off the rip. Hello, Cam. And Cammy's here. And Don's here. Hi, guys. How you doing? Nice to see you guys. So. We have Polly. This is Polly. For those of you that don't know who this is our little Polly Doodlebug.
I'm getting stinky fish breath kisses.
Yes, a little stinky. Mother Superior's here. Hi, honey. And Dazzle's here. Hi, honey. How you guys doing? Are you guys excited for an update night? Listen, I'm excited. I had to get tissue when we were sitting in there because I was like, oh no, I'm gonna cry. Is she licking you or herself? Oh, herself.
Both.
She's got she's got the roughest tongue, and she likes to lick one spot and one spot only. Oh, because you're doing okay. You're scratching her butt. I was wondering why she was doing that. Look at her going. She's like, Doodlebug, is she getting in your butt? She has always been like that. First, how is Beira? Beira is doing well. So for those of you that saw the picture of Mr. Drooly Face, so like you guys know, when I take Beira in the car, I've told you about his little and he blows bubbles because he acts like Cujo when we get in the car and just starts drooling everywhere. And everybody's like, oh, he's scared. It's traumatizing. It is an antibiotic, you guys. It is an antibiotic, and it is only like this little itty bitty bit. It is 0.03.
That is such a
It is
minuscule
the
amount.
teeniest little drop of it, and I put it in his mouth. He is so just dramatic that he instantly, every time I put it in his mouth so far, starts foaming at the mouth like he is Cujo, and looks like he's got tennis shoelaces hanging out of his face. It's insane. And it is not because he's being traumatized. It is not because he's being injured. It is because he's literally a drama queen. And to prove that point, tonight what I did was I hid that in his little bitty dish with the churro and the powder out of the capsule. No drool. So it doesn't taste bad. It's just the fact that I shot something into his mouth and he's like, oh my God, drama.
Poison.
Oh yes.
Me.
Listen, and the Oscar goes to Beira because he's now convinced you all that he's being traumatized, and he's not. He's not. And just for the first, listen, you know what else I did? I tasted it. Because I was like, you know what? Maybe somebody's right. Maybe it does taste bad. You know what it tastes like? Nothing.
No, if you want to know, I don't know.
It tastes like dirty, gritty water. That's what it tastes like. So there's no taste. Yeah.
What tastes worse is praziquantel. I've accidentally tasted that. And
So yes, I appreciate everybody's concern for Beira's trauma, but he is not being traumatized. And like I said, just because I was like, just in case one of you guys is right about the taste, I decided to just taste it. I just was like on the little dropper. I'm like, that is literally dirty, gritty water. There's no taste. There's no issue here. He's a good actor. He fooled all you. Yep.
I will say that he kind of did a similar thing when I tried to force that capsule, the psyllium husk. I put it in water and shot it into his mouth thinking that he might not eat it. I hadn't thought of the churu thing yet. He kind of did a similar thing where it was just like, It wasn't as drooly, but it was a mess.
Oh, no. Let me just show you something.
But when I put it in the churu, he's fine.
Yeah. Let me just show you something. I want to show you the arm of my couch. Can you see this right here? See this mark right here? Right here, this mark. Do you want to know what that mark is?
It's drool.
That is drool. That is drool from Beira from when I gave him his antibiotic earlier today. He literally was foaming at the mouth so bad that he ran over there, shook his head, and drool went everywhere. So yes, he is a drama queen. Yes. Nobody believe him. Now, steroids do taste awful if anyone has to give liquid of that. No, you are 100% right. This was just like, I'm like, this is an antibiotic, Beira. What are you doing? You're being dramatic. So just stop.
And we give metronidazole to a lot of cats. Yeah. Not that many have that reaction. We mostly get that reaction with praziquantel But there's just certain cats that don't like the idea of having something forced into them, and they all react that way to anything.
Yeah. And
It
Dave's
could be
here.
true, but if you're forcing it,
Right.
they're just like, it's
Yeah.
poison. She's forcing it.
Yeah. Dave's here. Hi, Dave. How you doing, honey? I just want to make sure. And Hans is here. Hans is a robot tonight. Beep, boop, beep, beep, boop, boop.
Hello.
Nice. Good job. Beep, beep, boop, boop. I love it. You guys are too funny. And Lori is here. Hi, Lori. How you doing, honey? Same thing happens here whenever Russ gives me a kiss. You cuties. Oh, listen, I don't blame you on that one. I mean, unless Russ is in here right now, then shame on you, Dawn.
Hi.
I had to play both sides. I'm sorry. I had a kitty years ago who did
Wow.
that with meds. Yeah, no, he is seriously. So that's why when I tell you guys, he does the thing in the car and blows bubbles and just drools. I'm like, listen, he is not being injured. I promise you, he is being dramatic. Snickers wants bedtime and is annoying Hans about it. That's so funny. All right, you guys. So what you're all here for, now that we got like 20 people in here, I wanted to get to this.
You're stuck to me. You're getting
there you go. So tonight, you guys, we went to the City of Columbia, Missouri Board of Health meeting. Okay. Now, let me just explain to you how this is going. This was meeting number 1 of what is probably going to be a year's worth of meetings. Okay. This is not going to be finished and finalized anytime soon. And I'm going to explain to you why here in a minute. So what we got tonight was we got a copy of all of, hang on, let me get back to the beginning so we can look at the name of this. Where the hell is the beginning, Christina? I lost the beginning. Oh, there it is. Okay, so what we got tonight was we got the Chapter 5 Animals and Fowl articles of, ordinances for this, right? For our city. And it goes from 5.1 all the way through to the end because Section 5 is the parts of the ordinance and ordinances that contained all the stuff about animals from definitions all the way to everything. Okay. So Section 5 is what we're dealing with as far as our situations are concerned. And so what they had done was they had gone through and they have little things in blue. I don't know if you can tell or not, but they have certain things in blue throughout this whole thing. And those are the parts of the ordinances that they want to change. Okay. So as I thumb through here, I go to the part that pertains to us to start with because it comes first. And that is Section 5-60, limitation upon number of dogs and cats kept. As it reads right now, it reads like this. Time for sexy librarian, baby. Cam always tells me I'm a sexy librarian when I put my glasses on, so I've just got to go with it. Okay, so how's it read right now? It reads like this. No person shall at any time keep, harbor, or own at any one location within the city more than a total of 4 dogs or cats over the age of 6 months old. This provision shall not apply to a lawfully operated commercial kennel, a kennel maintained in connection with a small animal hospital, the city pound, or persons in their role as a registered caretaker of feral cats. Thank you, Cam. So basically what that's saying is that I am breaking the law because zoning does not allow for my home or this property to be zoned as any of those things. I also do not have a license or a permit to be a feral cat caretaker, nor would it apply to my indoor cats anyways, because as it states, or a person in their role as a registered caretaker of feral cats. So it only applies to you as far as your role of the caretaker of cats, not your role as the owner of pets inside your house, if that makes sense. That is how it reads currently. What they want to add to that. Upon proper application, the director, in the director's discretion, may approve a variance from or a waiver to compliance with this section. The director may impose terms or conditions in association with the grant of a variance or waiver. Any act or conduct that is not in compliance with the terms and conditions of the variance or waiver shall be deemed a violation of this section. Basically, what they're saying is they want to give the director the room to allow for exception. on a case-by-case basis, depending on what you have going on. And that's going to be, like I said, at the discretion of the director. Yes, ma'am.
I also found out that my personal vet is on the Board of Health, and I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, so this girl, listen, I was going to get to that next because I wanted to go through this, and then we're going to get to what she was speaking on because this was hilarious to me. And I see Andres is here. Hi, Andres. How you doing? And I saw that Heather jumped in. Hi, Heather. How you doing, honey? So great of you guys. Listen, I'm so happy to have all you guys in here and paying attention to this and keeping up on this and following through with this and supporting us through this because, listen, this went from our little situation to something that's much, much bigger. So that was the part that had to do with our situation. So now I told you how it reads currently and how they want to change it. So I'm very happy about that. I'm happy with that. I have no qualms with it.
And that's also subject to being twerked and tweaked over the next coming months.
Right.
We're going to have meetings for each
Right.
one of these topics.
Right. Well, that's what we're going to get into next. I'm going to go through yours now. So now Christina here wanted to, her position in here was she wanted to go and speak on behalf of what's going on with the feral population and how it's handled. Christina, what was your biggest concern about how the ordinance is handling feral requirements?
So currently, our city specifically requires everyone to get a permit, which is in itself dumb to me because nobody really wants to go through all those steps. But to get the permit, you have to apply for it. You have to have, if you rent, you have to have the property owner's permission to get the permit. Then you have to write out a detailed description of every cat in your colony. You have to provide proof of trapping them, neutering them, ear tipping them, microchipping them, giving them rabies, and FIV, FELV testing them, each and every one. Regular TNR literally does TNVR, which is trap, neuter, vaccinate, return, and then they also do the ear tip to show that they were fixed. So they're requiring the microchipping and the FELV FIV test as an add-on, which at low cost centers are about $20 and $30, so $50 per cat. At regular vet clinics, you're talking more like $150 because it's another sedation that has to be done, plus an exam, honestly more like $200 per cat. And it's just not feasible when most cat colonies are going to be in lower income areas. Plus, they're wanting us to annually retrap every cat and redo rabies, FIV, FELV. And if they're positive for FIV, FELV, put them down, which people aren't going to do. So people aren't even going to pursue the permit because they love these cats.
Right.
And they don't want to have to put them down if they test positive for these things. So they're
not to mention the cost involved in doing all that for all these cats in one time. Nobody has the money to afford all that. And they are like, so they're just going to continue to do it in secret. And then, it doesn't work the way it is. So Christina got up there and very eloquently, which I just got to tell you, very eloquently spoke on behalf of these issues. And then when they were going through all the projected or the suggested changes to things, it came to, and I just want to touch on this real quick. Heather just gifted 5 memberships. Jennifer, Linda, Miss Tuned, Jade, and Just Lurkin got them. And congratulations, guys, and thank you so much, Heather. Thank you very much, honey. And I saw somebody else jumped in here. I just want to say hi. Irma came in here, and Dandelion Dreams came in here. You guys, thank you so much for being here and keeping up with us. So the part that she's talking about is going to be section 5-113, and it's requirements for care of feral cat colonies. So what they want to do is they want to remove the requirement of annually trapping each cat over the age of 8 weeks old. Okay. So there's not going to be they don't want to have the requirement of retrapping them every year because, as Christina has stated, and we've talked about before, once a cat has been trapped, trapping them a second time is so hard to do because they're not stupid. They're not dumb. They also want to abolish the part that says all cats must be tested annually for feline leukemia and feline immunodeficiency virus. And then those cats testing positive must be humanely euthanized. They want to abolish that requirement. Yay! So 2 of the big requirements that was really upsetting to Christina and a lot of people and preventing people from becoming actual registered caretakers. 2 of those things are now up for elimination. So that's good. So they're restructuring that. What was the other thing, Christina? on there?
So they've also, he had a proposal where he was showing abolishing.
Oh, the microchipping, that was the other thing, not requiring microchipping anymore, that's it.
But he had shown the other thing, which is what I want to propose, is no permit at all.
Right.
So one of the things that he mentioned was getting the property owner and the adjacent property owner of basically anyone who connects to you permission. And I'm like, that's not gonna work because people are just gonna keep feeding them and then complaining, and then what's gonna happen? Nothing.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't.
And if some other person is feeding and you don't know exactly which one it is.
Right. And to give you guys an idea of what she's talking about, so there's a permit in our city, and this is not every city, but in our city, to be a colony manager or colony caretaker. In other words, in order to legally feed cats in the neighborhood, you have to acquire a permit. And as they stated tonight, we found out only one permit has ever been given out, and it expired. So now there are currently no active permits for any caretakers, even though
13 to 14 year period.
Yeah, one in like 13 to 14 years has ever been given. Max Kid's here. Hi, honey. And Max Kid says, hey, Christina. And Cam gifted a membership and Jessica got it. Congratulations, Jessica. Thank you so much, Cam. If I'm late getting to these, I will get to them. I just want to get this out. But yeah, so in our town, they require you to have a permit. However, only one person's ever gotten it. They let it lapse, and now there is nobody in this town that actually has legal permission to feed any cats in the wild. Make that make sense. So here are the current requirements. You have to have a detailed description of the cats in the colony. So basically, you need a 3-ring binder, and each cat has to have a file, a picture, a name, or a number, or whatever, identifying something. All right. And then proof that the feral cats in the colony have been ear-tipped and microchipped, neutered or spayed, and vaccinated against rabies, or are actively being trapped to perform the ear-tipping, microchipping, neutering, or spaying, and vaccinations against rabies. That's currently what the requirement is. They also require the address of the private property where the colony will be maintained, and they require written permission from the property owner to maintain the colony at such address, okay? And contact information for the applicant and any other information that may be required by the department. So the reason why it's just not feasible, because here's the thing. That's not feasible because of rentals also, right? So what happens when you're renting? So let's say Christina's situation. Christina rents. What if her landlord is not willing to sign off as the property owner? Right. Okay, so her landlord is not willing to sign off on her being a caretaker.
And the other thing to consider that though is even though there's a lot of landlords who even put into the clause you're not allowed to put food out for strays.
So that takes care of
it. So it's not like people are going to stop just because oh well my landlord won't let me. They're still going to do it, and then it's just going to go unreported or hidden or you know.
And in Christina's area, her neighborhood, she mentioned this tonight too. There's not one location where these cats are maintained. She might be the one we all know. She is the face for that neighborhood because she's made herself the face for that neighborhood. However, she is not the only one maintaining this colony. This colony is a community colony. Okay. There are multiple people in her neighborhood maintaining this colony, feeding this colony, keeping an eye on the colony, keeping tabs on this colony.
Well, and one thing that one guy mentioned, he goes, well, this seems like a neighborhood thing. And I'm like, yes and no. I wasn't allowed to speak out at this point because I already said my things, but I took notes because I'm going to actually put a speech together for next time. But the thing is my colony doesn't intermingle with the colony behind me.
Right.
Well, quite literally, my neighbor whose yard connects to mine, maybe 1 or 2 of our cats visit each other's food bowl, but she has her colony of 8 to 10, and I have mine of 17, and only 1 or 2 of mine go to her house, and only 1 of hers comes to mine. So colonies stick to their specific caretakers. And while I've trapped around 70 cats in a 2-block radius, I've gone to the caretakers and trapped them. Not because they all come to my house, but because I'm like, oh, well, I noticed there's cats over there. I'm going to go talk to that person to set out food. Can I help you? Can I trap these? That's how I found my neighbor Robert, who needed extra help in general, because I knocked on his door and was like, hey, I noticed you have kittens. Can I get them fixed for you? And then I realized he had a lot of other problems that needed fixed. And that's what I did. And I also take door hangers and put it on people's doors if they don't answer. I'm like, call me if you want me to fix your cats.
Right.
And so all these colonies are not the neighborhoods. They literally started somewhere and branched out.
Right.
And they're not the same colony, but they're in a similar area because this is a rental area, a low income rental area. People are constantly moving in and out.
Yep.
They're abandoning their cats. Their cats are getting loose. They can't find the cats. They're irresponsible people who got a cat and didn't fix it and lets it in and out, and then it had kittens outside. The kittens were feral, and that's how all this stuff starts.
Right.
And so in neighborhoods where people are constantly moving every 6 months to a year, this is going to be a higher issue.
Right.
And that's why I want to abolish the permit altogether, because these are the areas where you're not going to get landlords to sign these permits. So then the problem's just not going to
It's not going to fix, not going to get resolved. So here's the other thing, and I want to touch on this because this is something that was brought up a while back. Best Friends Animal Society. I think you guys have heard me talk about them before. I was not a fan before. However, I have learned more, done more research, done more homework, and I'm actually kind of becoming a fan because a lot of the PowerPoint presentation that we actually watched tonight and listened to, a lot of the information was gathered by taking suggestions from Best Friends Animal Society because they are the largest animal sanctuary in the nation. Okay. And so they have really good ideas, and their suggestion was to abolish the permits altogether because it doesn't work. And that's what Christina was just saying. It doesn't work. And Cam says, bottom line, we don't want the kitties to go hungry. And here's the thing. We have an overpopulation of cats outside, but we have no registered cat caretakers. So they're eating. People are doing it anyways.
Well, in the Best Friends Animal Society, like I've gone to a lot of different conferences, whether online or in person, and they're oftentimes doing different speeches on different topics. And when I went to the Springfield Midwest Animal Sheltering Conference in October last year, they did 2 on TNR subjects. And on one of them, they do a lot of research, like actual research. They fund a lot of research. And in one of the chats that he had, quite literally, their surveys and research said that 1 in 3 people that see a cat outside will set food out for it.
Yep. And that's what Kevin was saying tonight. Yeah. Yeah,
and
that's
he's
right.
Like, people are going to feed them. Yep. And we can't stop.
You can't stop people from doing it.
With them. And I'm like, and that's why catch and kill doesn't work with cats.
Right.
I know people want to catch and kill pythons, or they want to catch and kill hogs. And there's still people that are against that because we're humans and we have empathy and we care about living things.
Right.
But cats are an even touchier subject because we do keep them regularly as pets as well. So
hi, Heike.
Getting everyone on a catch and kill is not going to work.
Right.
Because people will rather spend money, volunteer, and put all their efforts towards TNR before they're going to pay for killing a whole city's worth of cats.
Right. Cammie, thank you so much for the $10. You and Christina are awesome. Kim, what you're all doing is amazing. This is for both of you. Thank you so much, honey. I really appreciate that. So Dawn says, so if there's no permit system, what is the answer?
So I'm going to be recommending that if you feed them, you fix them. Basically, there's going to be a TNR. I want there to be an ordinance that if you feed feral cats, you have to trap it, neuter, spay, vaccinate for rabies, ear tip, and return. So if you're caught feeding cats, then they can issue like a warning, hey, you have this long to get them fixed, or we're going to fine you. And that's that. That simple.
And Kevin brought up a good point. So one of the reasons, so outside of the fact that only 1 permit's ever been given, the other thing that I wanted to point out is also, conversely of that, only 1 person has ever been charged with illegally feeding cats. Now, just think about this. We require a permit to feed cats. Only 1 permit has ever been issued, and it is currently expired, so now there are none. But yet only 1 person in the whole city has ever been charged with illegally feeding cats, and they didn't pursue the charges. They were dropped. So if we're requiring a permit and only one's been given, but we're only charging one person outside of that for illegally feeding, really, you really firmly believe as a city that only one person was ever illegally? Shut up.
They know it's
Stop.
not, and it's
Right.
also
So it's
something
not
else.
even it's not even a like a, how do I, what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
It's not a, when you, enforceable, thank you.
I was about to say,
It's not an enforceable law.
and the Best Friends Animal Society said if the city goes up against you for something like this, you can actually fight back with a lawyer and win because it is an unenforceable law.
Literally, because you know you can
You
walk
can
into court and
fight
say,
city
but look at the
ordinances.
tracking. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just the facts that they gave us tonight about the one permit and only one person ever being charged, when they know full well that tons of people are doing this, it's obviously a law that they themselves are not willing to enforce. So if you ever get charged with feeding a colony of cats outside without a permit, you can go to court and go, this is an unenforceable law. Are you kidding me? You really are telling me that the law enforcement thinks I'm the only person doing this? Because I don't see them enforcing it with anyone else?
And it's a complaint-based system, so it's quite literally something people use to maliciously get back at neighbors. And
or other people like to do to people they've never even met before. Like Wanda. Let's call a spade here, guys.
Is he sucking on that?
What? Yes, he is.
No,
So don't disturb him. Hang on, I gotta show everybody what he's doing. Lulu is sucking on it while he's kneading.
Him's nursing on his head.
He's
sorry,
so
I have
cute.
to interrupt you because that was adorable.
What was I just gonna say? Dang it! Now I got distracted by cute kitties. Damn it. That's not gonna work here. I am watching this closely so I can make changes here. Okay, so what's not gonna work there? The permit thing? What, honey? Dawn, what's not gonna work there?
We don't want the permit.
We don't want the permit system here. We don't want it.
I really want the ordinance to specifically state if you put food out, then it is by law you have to do TNR.
Okay, so Dawn's point here is it can't work here because there's no access to affordable spay and neuter, which I get. Then there's not. She does not. Where she's at, there is no access to that stuff. So what I want to bring up is, and I was going to bring this up to you so that you know about it. So there are places in Florida, okay? There's places in Florida, and I would have to get a hold of Jenna and have her send me actually probably look in the email and find it. We've done clips of different news articles from around the world of cat stuff. One of the things Florida does is it gives out vouchers. So everybody can go get a voucher, right? And with each voucher, it's a free spay and neuter for a cat.
We have that here.
We have that currently.
For pets. Yeah.
Okay, so no, this is specifically for TNR. This is a TNR voucher where anybody in the public can go and get at least one free one per like certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And they can bring in a feral cat to get TNR'd, tipped, all that stuff, and then return. And that's their way of trying to help that system by giving everybody a free one. Here, we're giving you one free. Just everybody does one. Think of where we're going to be. You know what I mean? And I think that's a great idea. And that's an example of another city that's doing something that works.
What's that?
What's he doing?
Your laptop forward.
Stop! What are you doing, you monster? Hang on.
To shove it off.
Heather, thank you so much for the 20, honey. Thank you. For Christina to help the kitties, you decide how. Oh, honey. Okay, so I owe you $40. Thank you so much, Heather. Thank you. So, it's one of those things, Dawn, like I said before, when you bring something to city council, one of the first things they want to know, they want to do research. They want research into how do other cities handle these situations? How have other cities done things to help solve the problem? Things like that. So,
and I have a whole bunch of things I plan to try and figure out how to send Kevin.
Right. So Christina's going to do a lot of research. So, we're going to have that. Plus, like I said, look into the Florida law, the Florida thing, what Florida's doing, because maybe if you go to your city council with enough evidence of what other cities are doing to solve the problem and making it work, maybe your local city hall will go, well, hey, if they've invested into this and it's actually working and solving a problem in a humane way, Great. Then let's see what we can do to make ours work. I don't know. The problem is she's in Arkansas. Arkansas does not recognize cats as a pet. They see them as being, they're literally listed as vermin. They are seen the same way as possums, raccoons, mice, rats, all that stuff. They do not recognize them as being something.
You'd have to start with their Department of Agriculture.
Yeah, that's where you have to start, Dawn, with the Department of Agriculture. Start changing. That's the uphill battle. Unfortunately, Dawn, because of where you live, that's the uphill battle you're going to have to start with, getting them recognized as a worthwhile animal to begin with, and get them to be a productive one.
It helps to find people that are in rescue and animal sheltering to come and back you with that and to help you with those steps, because going at these things from one angle by yourself was such a big forward, like over the whole city, a whole state.
Yeah.
That's going to require a lot more.
Yep.
Oomph.
It's going to be, listen, Dawn, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's going to be a lot. And I mean, if I have faith in the fact that if you put your mind to it, I know you can do it. Now it's just a matter of, do you have it in you to do it? Because I know that you are spread so thin right now. I'm not saying that you can't. I know you can do anything, but I also know how spread thin you are.
It doesn't have to happen tomorrow.
Right. And Cam gifted a membership, and DB got it. Thank you so much, Cam, and congratulations, DB. And hello, Fritz. How you doing, hon? But yeah, so there's a lot going on. So the four different things, the four categories that they are focused on for animal issues in this city right now that they are actually going to be working on. Number one is the feral cats, like we just talked about. Two is some laws about tethering dogs and stuff outside, tethering your animals outside, what's acceptable, what's not, when is acceptable, when it's not, what kind of restrictions should be put on it, things like that. Another one is the one about having animals like I do. And what was the fourth one? It was the tethering, the feral. Oh yeah, and vicious dogs laws. They want to put they're looking into the option of possibly putting together an actual board that just specifically deals with deeming whether animals are vicious or not. It got nothing to do with us. But Irma, sorry I have to sleep. It's 4:00 here. Irma, have a nice night, honey. Thank you so much for jumping in here. I really appreciate it. Have a good night. Thank you, hon. But yeah, so there's four different situations that they're dealing with, ordinances are dealing with basically, and that they're going to focus on. So what's going to happen now is, just so you guys understand the process, tonight was when they went over all the ordinances and what the changes are that they're looking at right now, and decided which ones they're going to focus on. Those four. Now what's going to happen, because of the fact that the tethering law and the feral cats laws are going to be huge issues, there's going to be a lot of room for contention from a lot of people, because this is going to be like they were saying in there, it's going to be like a 50-50 split. There's going to be half the community when it comes to feral cats, they're going to say, we don't want them around. So you know what? Animal control should just round them all up and euthanize them. That's going to be the extreme one side of it. And then there's going to be the other side of it, like Christina, who's saying, no, it's not animal control's deal, and that's going to be an uphill battle, and why don't you just let us take care of it? But it's going to be a point of contention for a lot of people, along with the tethering law. So that now we're going to have, they're going to have a meeting where they specifically talk about the, what are you doing? You make me nervous.
I think they go, apparently Marshmallow is not doing well.
Uh-oh. Okay. You guys, I got to cut it. We'll talk about this again later. Yeah, I got to get Christina home. Yeah. Okay, guys, I got to cut it. I'm sorry. There's an emergency. I have to get her home. We will talk tomorrow, but I'll be back tomorrow night. Thank you guys very much for being here tonight, and we will talk about this more. I promise. Please, I will explain more later. But yeah, there's an emergency. I got to go. Sorry, guys. Talk to you later. Thank you guys for being here. We'll see you guys tomorrow.